on. One of the items that we discussed at the SHPO conference was how we write up information on our commissioners' reports, as well as the basis for making the determination. We, of course, have our HP ordinance that is a city-based guideline, but SHPO also references the Department of Interior's guidelines for renovation of buildings and such. And in your packet this evening, you'll notice that there are 8 criteria that the Department of Interior recommends that we use as the basis for making our decisions in approving or denying. So as we go through from now on, we need to consider not only our ordinance, but the Department of Interior's recommendations, and that gets into a number of different things like the materials, historic features, and so on. Now, I realize a lot of our items that we review are sign guideline, or signs rather, but even in looking at that, we'll base that more on our ordinance. Things that reference facade changes, like tonight, windows, for example, and that sort of thing, we'll need to reference that. So beginning with next month, you'll notice in your write-up that we will mention a couple of possibilities from that, and I need to have you really be familiar with those 8 items so that whenever we go through and make the decisions, you can, in your mind, say, okay, well, that applies to that particular Department of the Interior's criteria that we need to take a look at. And again, we were told that when the city gets its every 3-year review from SHPO, that's one of the things that they'll be looking at, was how frequently did you reference that in your department write-up. So we want to be in compliance.
We will be.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I guess there's really nothing that we need to move on that.
No.
This is just information that we will be using in the future and be
Yes.
applying to all our decisions, which is actually, after overreading this, it's a good thing. It is a good thing for Guthrie. Thank you very much. Item 5, discussion and possible action on application number CA number 2014-2012186, requesting removal to update the signage on front of the building at 202 West Oklahoma. The applicant requests approval to replace the signage at 202 West Oklahoma. Photos and illustrations of the proposed sign has been submitted for our review, and applicant or representative will be present to answer our questions. Thank you. Any other background on this, Mr. Fish? Nothing?
Everything that I received is in the packet.
Thank you very much.
For reference, in case you don't remember exactly as it
Yes.
looks now, there's I'll pass that down, photo of the signage at Bank First now, and we do have a representative from the bank here
Yes.
to answer any questions.
Well, I'm glad you're here. As far as I can tell, and what and from the pictures, it's going to be a cutout or a stencil, so to speak, of the state with the brick, the same brick that's on the fascia of the building exposed, and then the Bank First logo on top of that.
Tina,
Any
could you
other-
step up to the
Yeah, I'm
podium so
sorry,
that
Tina.
everyone can hear?
Sorry, I should have asked you to do that.
Tina, is there brick behind that sign?
To my knowledge, there is.
Okay, because the First National Bank sign that was there, I remembered it being inset and no brick. So when that Bank First comes off, I'm not sure what you're going to find behind it.
Okay. And they have not come up and actually removed any of it or checked behind it. So my guess is if that's what they find, they'll have to match that brick as best as possible.
I just didn't want you to be surprised
I
in
was going to
case.
ask you actually if you knew, because you were probably there when they put that sign on.
No, actually, they did it right after I left,
Okay,
but if memory serves me, they just covered over the First National Bank.
okay.
But that,
We'll make sure we
Could be
note
different.
that, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Could you describe a little bit about the color of the sign?
It's their intent to make the color of the sign the same as the light-colored pillars alongside the doorways, kind of that sand color, so that it will kind of flow with the rest of the building. Not metal, not flashy, just so that it all just kind of fits in as if it's always been there.
Okay. So it'll match I'll call it stone, as opposed to being
Right.
white.
That's
It'll be
correct.
more
Yes,
limestone.
More weathered.
Thank you.
yes.
More with it.
And I'm not sure what exactly the material will be, but I assume it'll be kind of that, looks like styrofoam that they can shape and then paint over, kind of like they did at the amphitheater. That's my impression.
I'm sorry, was that all questions? I was looking at commissioners, but I'm glad I know
Yeah.
staff has questions too, so
No,
is everything?
I'm fine.
Very well. I think that it matches and is actually more visible than the sign that's there, so.
That's the intent.
That's, usually is for signage. If there's no other questions, I would entertain for a motion to approve the sign with the one addition that the background brick be matched as closely to the existing brick that is there so that everything flows nicely in with
Okay.
it. So
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I second
that
it.
was, Ms. Mahoney made the motion, and I believe that was Ms. Bothroyd seconded. Tell us how we could have a vote, sir.
Chairman Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner Bothroyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney.
Yes.
We have approval. Is that approval with modification concerning the bricks, or just approval as submitted?
Well, it's approval with modifications just to make sure that there is brick behind the sign that is going to be there. That matches the structure. That's really.
My hope for you is that they did fill that in.
Yeah.
Well,
With the
you know.
proper brick.
We'll find some brick.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 6, discussion and possible action on application number CA number 2014-20112075, requesting approval to replace windows at 210 West Oklahoma. Applicant requests approval to replace windows at 210 West Oklahoma. Photos and illustrations of the proposed window have been submitted for our review. An applicant or representative will be present to answer specific questions. I take it, hello, sir. You could, sorry. who-
I'm Paul Brzezinski. I'm the general contractor for Jason Rosellis Law Firm.
Oh, okay, Paul. I'm sorry, your last name, sir?
Brzezinski,
Okay,
Brudzinski.
thank you. First off, sir, I guess you heard us on our first item of the night, on item 4 of what we're looking to in the downtown area of Guthrie is to keep Guthrie as historic to texture and material as possible
Yes, sir.
in any facade change, any construction for that matter, as close as we can. And with our other guidelines and other, things that we're trying to do here in Guthrie, I'm afraid that the metal extruded aluminum window frames and doors are really not acceptable here
Okay.
in Guthrie.
Okay.
That said, and I went by and looked at the building, and of course, the other commissioners will also have comments too when I finish, but looking at the framing and the facade, it seems to be in relatively good shape. It's really, obviously it needs paint, and there may be some underlying things that you can't see from the exterior, but as far as replacing the glazing, that's really not an issue. As the high-efficiency glazing as long as it fits in within the same frame. The doors actually look like modern doors that don't look like an aluminum extruded door, and actually look like they have a insulated glass, but even that, if that's not the correct insulated glass,
The door's kind of rotted
it is.
from the inside.
Okay.
It takes on water, so we were going to replace the door.
Right.
The client requested the metal frame windows.
Right.
But he is willing just to replace the glass with insulated low-E glass, if that's acceptable. And most of our work would take place from the inside. We would take the wood stop off from the inside, remove the glass. So really, as far as externally, unless anything gets cracked or damaged upon removal of that existing glass, he would still like to try to take out one of the stiles. Instead of making 4 windows in front, just have 2 windows on the bottom, instead of having it divided into the four pieces, which if you go on the inside of the building, those 4 windows were added at a later date, where originally that storefront probably was one full piece of glass. If you could, from the inside of the framing, you could tell it was divided up into 30-inch panes of glass at a later date.
Yes. You don't have by chance, any pictures of the historical
Not-
pictures
not
of
from-
the building?
not
We would have to do a little research. I'm sure we can come up with something a little closer to when the building, that's a good side of the street to get photographs of. I have not been able to find any yet. I'm sure we do have photographs somewhere of that. Putting it back to the way the original front would not be a bad thing. In fact, we'd probably really enjoy it if the original, but even so, depending on this facade, if it's been there longer than even the original, this actually becomes the more historic facade and is the one that needs to stay. As far as the aluminum extrusions and doors, I can pretty well, I'm speaking for the rest of the commission here, and I'm sure that they'll have something to say about it too, but I'm sure that is not going to be acceptable
Well,
for.
that's why we moved the meeting from June until July, because I was informed of that. So, I mean, he is willing to just replace the glass if that's acceptable, but he would like to make the glass, instead of 30 inches wide, make them 5 foot by 5 foot, not changing the transoms above any of it, just take out one of the mutton bars down.
I understand. And now, speaking personally, I'm not speaking now, the rest of the commission will have their say and we'll go with the vote there. I am not as opposed to making those 2 main windows larger lights. I would prefer seeing them kept 4, just because it is what is historically there, but because a larger window is, in different respects, as those have said, it was not uncommon, and it does work with the building. So that, in my opinion, is not necessarily a problem. But I'll open the floor to the rest of the commissioners for questions for you too. So thank you very much for coming up.
Thanks.
The creation of the large panes of glass was new in that time period, and so having the very large lights was actually kind of a status symbol for a lot of the businesses, and that's why they were so popular at that time. The smaller windows are even older, and then we've gone back to smaller window panes. But at this point in time, the large lights were what was typical. So I like the large lights.
I have to agree with you. I like the larger, as long as they remain the wooden frame.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mrs.
Well, I see 2 doors here. I mean, you're talking, I know we're discussing one door, but I see 2 doors right here.
Right. Yep.
So we're only doing one,
The door into the downstairs. The other door leads upstairs, I think.
is it both doors that you're replacing
No,
or
ma'am.
fixing, or just one?
Just for the one downstairs unit.
Okay.
We won't be doing anything upstairs or above those transoms. And
Okay.
Really, to the outside, there's no paint change unless, of course, something gets damaged when we're removing the glass. And then we would match the existing paint that's already on the building.
I apologize, I didn't drive by right before the meeting, but are those two doors that are currently there, are those matching doors?
I believe they're both a wood, full view, I call it a garden door. It's your typical, just regular 7-foot garden door, I think they are. They could be 8-footers.
Okay. And that also is the next thing, according to, it looked like what we have here is replacing that door with an extruded aluminum door.
Again, we would just leave it. I mean, if the doors rotted beyond repair inside, I'd like to put a new wood door in to match what's already there.
And that would be acceptable. If you could find a new door that matches that one
Yeah,
and matches the two side by side, since they do seem to, they are in such close proximity. If we change one door, the other one should be changed to match it just
Correct.
because that, if they can't be
We
exactly.
should probably match it, match it exactly. I don't think that's going to be
Perfect.
an issue whatsoever.
That's very good.
So you're going back with the same color theme?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, again, as far as my bid is concerned, we don't have anything going on outside the building except for the glass, or, if it's acceptable, we would replace the glass.
Yes, the glass is not a problem. It's just the architectural features of the shadow lines, the framing, and the frames, all because that is the architectural fabric, and when people walk down the street, we want to give them the illusion of being back in time as things were. And we're doing our best to try to get rid of and do away with every chance we get, whatever kind of aluminum extruded window frames, at least on the first floor.
Right.
Just where you can walk up and physically touch that. So I do appreciate you being sensitive to that, and your client being
Right.
sensitive to that also. In saying that, is there any other questions? Okay, yes, Ms. Bothwell.
I'm not trying to be
No,
nitpicky or anything.
we need to know.
but, The picture of the two doors, there doesn't seem to be a window like is illustrated in this next picture with the drawing. Are you planning on putting another window there, or was that just part of the drawing when it was done?
I'd have to look at that drawing. I turned it in June.
Well, you can come over and look at it.
I could look
I
at it.
don't see it actually.
Because your drawing right here has your window, and then you really don't have anything going on there.
This was showing this door is probably an 8-foot door, and that's the difference in the drawing. So we would leave the door as it is, and then that window, the transom above the door would go away, because this door would remain.
Okay.
The door that's there.
I do believe there are transoms already there. I believe it's
Yeah,
windows
well,
on.
The 5-foot windows is like 30-inch transoms with a 2x6 in between.
Ah, yes.
In his drawing, it looks like he
Yes.
had a 6-foot
Okay.
door, and it's instead of,
It
it's an
showed-
8-foot door, and so this is the empty space
Okay.
that she was asking about.
Whatever space is there right now, according to the picture, that's what the door would fill
Yes,
right
sir.
now. And it just,
Yeah.
it just shows a transom light there. Okay, I understand now. That makes sense.
Probably the scale of that picture was a little bit distorted. It probably would have been, that probably showed a 2-foot transom. It should have been more like 16-inch transom instead of in that proposed metal frame system, which we're doing away with.
Well, as long as the door fits the same opening, that's
Yeah.
there now, that's fine. Any other concerns, questions from staff or commission?
I'd like to make a
Yes.
recommendation that
Yes.
in the voting, we've discussed many different items, that we vote on this as I'm seeing it, as 3 different items. Number 1 being the door, number 2, the size of the glass, which would incorporate removing the middle divider of the 2 glass sections, and then the window frames. So three votes.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you. That makes it
That makes it
perfectly
easier.
clear.
Okay.
Of the doors. I guess let's start off with the doors, since we're starting there. Entertain a motion to approve for wooden door, if a replacement is needed, a wooden door of the same size and style that is there now with insulated glass of your choosing, that type of.
That's
And
perfect.
it should be clear glass, but not something frosted, obviously, but if I could entertain a motion, if that was clear. Perfectly clear as mud.
I'll move. It's as clear as frosted glass.
Well, we don't need to be obscure. Or obtuse, I'm sorry.
Did you actually move?
I did.
I'll second.
Mrs. Brown moved and Ms. Mahoney seconded for if the door is to be replaced, it would be replaced with wood door and insulated clear glass.
Okay. Chairman Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner Bothroyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Long,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
approved as submitted.
Or
or
changed.
As
Yes.
modified.
Modified. Doors, okay. Let's just move straight to the, I guess, to the window frames. Knowing what's, removing the center section and taking the 4 lights to 2 large lights of insulated glass. Entertain a motion to approve for that modification in wood frame, that is,
I'll move for 2 lights.
for 2 lights in wood frame, or existing wood framing. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, that's the third vote.
That's the third.
Well, that will be the third thing,
Yeah, so we're
yes.
just doing the 4 to 2.
4 to 2 right now, with insulated glass.
With
clear
insulated glass.
That way we can do it just that way. Sorry, Mr. Fish.
That's okay.
This is rather,
Did we get a second?
Ms. Aaron, first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
That was Mr. Long seconded.
Okay.
And how we feel, sir.
Chairman Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner Bothroyd,
Can we skip me? Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Long,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
approved with modification.
Very well. Under the third would be to, what would we say? We leave the windows wood frames. That was the first, yes. Then all the windows on the front are to be left with the same style, same reveals, same shadow lines as existing, and replacing with insulated glass, but must stay wood windows. Does that sound correct to what we have discussed?
Yeah.
Entertain a
I motion.
Ms. Bothroyd motions for approval. May we have a second, please?
I'll second.
Ms. Mahoney seconds.
Chairman Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner Bothroyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Long,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
approved with modifications.
All ayes. Well, thank you very much, sir. Thanks for coming, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. Thank you. Item 7. Well, thank you for being able to make it here. James, Mr.
Yeah.
Long?
Pardon me, I have a
Yes.
quick question. With item number 4, the Secretary of the
Yep.
Secretary of Interior Standards? Is that on the Guthrie website, on the city's website?
Not as yet, no.
But it will
I
be
will
so that
come
other
on.
people
Yeah.
can see it? Okay, that was my only question.
Okay.
And I guess when we redo this book, we'll add that
Yes.
section to the red book so that whenever we hand this out after we've updated it, everybody will know have, there will be no excuse.
Approve.
Um,
On the minutes, we've noticed that the motion that was made was for the special meeting that was held, and there are 2 sets of minutes there, I believe, both for the special meeting and for the workshop. So we need to approve the minutes for the workshop.
I thought that's what we approved.
I thought you approved the minutes for the special meeting.
Okay. I remember.
Whatever, I just want to make sure they're both approved.
Can we amend our motion to include both? Or does it have to be a separate one?
Just to keep it safe,
Gotcha.
let's do the opposite of what the other one was.
Make a motion to approve the second set of minutes.
I love that one. Thank you so much. Perfect.
And I will second that.
There we go.
There you go.
Mr. Long and Ms.
And then Mahoney.
Okay, my understanding of this is that we have already approved the
special.
regular meeting on the 5th, and now we're approving the one on June 18th, 2014.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
But with one modification, though.
So, well, now,
But
I would-
yeah, because I think what the comments, it was made on the street light on Wentz was about the historical light status. You know, just the wording's different. I think that's what
that was at the special meeting.
yeah, is that
Okay.
what we're talking about?
Well, we apparently, what did, we
We approved the
approved this-
workshop.
We approved the special meeting.
No, he's got five.
He's got workshop. Actually, it was this, I was under the impression it was the special meeting.
See, I
that
thought it was the workshop we approved. But
Which one are we approving here?
Yeah, which one are we doing now? I was under,
I thought we were on,
Okay.
The
wait,
motion
hold on.
indicated the other one, so by stating the other
Yeah.
meeting, I think we're covered.
We're
we're
good.
covered,
Yeah.
yes. And,
Okay, can we just go through the voting real quick?
Chairman Wood?
and I have to abstain as I was not there at the other meeting.
Commissioner Bothroyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney?
Yes.
Commissioner Long?
Yes.
Approved as submitted.
It's close.
Thanks, guys.
That's as clear as that obscure glass we were talking about. huh? So-
Frosted, pretty glue chipped glass.
Actually, on item 7, discussion of workshop for lighting. Wasn't sure we'd have everybody here tonight. We were going to table that tonight, and we'll pick that up at our next regularly scheduled meeting. If I could, guess we have to vote on that, since it's a menu item. We don't need to do that? Okay, very well.
And that way, Commissioner Robbins will be here as well.
Yes, and that way everybody can be here and we all can discuss it. So we'll table item 7. Moving on, do we have comments from staff tonight?
I've commented enough.
You've done your comment.
And Mr. Fish, I believe you, whatever.
I have nothing today.
You have, we're up to date. Very well, thank you. Any comments from commissioners?
Yes, what is the status of the historical light?
What is the status of the historical light?
On
It-
Wentz.
Yes.
On Wentz?
It's at the street department being repaired with a
Okay.
view to put it back when it's ready.
Okay, so do we know what a time frame we have?
No, we do not. However, I can give you their number. 282-8400.
No, you call them.
We will. It's, let's just say
No,
that
but
it is
no.
on their, it is on their work list.
And that's good.
And yes, it is.
So next month, hopefully they got the post going and all that, hopefully.
Yes.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Is there any news on the follow-up to the letter that was sent out a few months ago?
Patriot,
No, not just that, to all the building owners. That sometime this summer, people were going to start going out and assessing property?
yes, we were, how should I say, partnering with the police department and going through that because they had staff that would be available. It turns out several of their staff have either transferred to other cities or whatever. They are short.
Gotcha.
Do not have that. Would any of you like to assist in your free time?
We
I'll
very well-
assist. I
Yes.
don't mind.
I will too.
Wonderful.
Well, we can,
For building owners.
I will assist James and we can walk the neighborhood.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I would really, really like that. I'll give you a check mark, box, paper, clipboard, and go through and let's set up some time and we can talk, go through, and I appreciate you guys giving us a hand with that. We're short
Absolutely.
feet
Understand
power.
that.
That's,
I will ask some of the ladies who work at the museum to see if they would be willing to volunteer to walk around
Okay.
and, or drive around and just kind of
Right.
look and see, because.
Yes, either way, because the weather is good. Well, it's a little too hot, but the weather is good.
go out in the
And we can
morning.
go through and, make sure people are aware. And I'll be honest, just that letter going out has really initiated activity within our office
Absolutely.
with people coming forward and say, you guys are going to be coming out, I want to make sure I have this and this done.
It would be
Yes.
helpful, because I think if we just picked a starting point and went down each block, and I think that the things that we could identify, if we could then put that in a form letter, but also I'd like to take that, I don't want that personally, I would much rather hand deliver that letter and go speak with the building owner personally, once it's been drafted.
Okay.
So that we could do a little point out, and say, this is what we mean here, this is what we see. And figure out, I mean, I don't know which ones have responded to that letter, so obviously knowing who those people are would be helpful, because it would be kind of redundant to go and say, we think your building needs to be addressed, and they said, well, we've already submitted something to the city. So if we could know who's already responded with action plans, that would be great.
Okay.
And timelines, that way we could go to each owner and just say, hey, have you even noticed? Because I'll be honest, sometimes, when you're walking in and day out, you don't see it sometimes, So if we could just, politely let them know. I think most people want to do the right thing, so let's try it.
Then my second question was Patriot Industries that was brought up. If,
I have personally visited with Patriot Industries and directed them to make the changes to improve their building.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Another comment I would like to make, I didn't get to see her personally, but I saw some pictures on Facebook, but I saw Sharon Bowers was out and about.
Yes.
And that was really exciting to see her
Yes.
out. So I
Great.
know she's, not with us here this evening, but gosh, really great to see her back on her feet and among us again.
and I agree with you. And we look forward to seeing her back here with us, and hope she gets to a speedy recovery. Any other comments? Everything's good? I would motion for us to adjourn.
So move.
So moved,
Amen.
and we are adjourned. Thank you all.